Hello world, and welcome back to DxO. My name is Don, and this is my channel where I share with you some of how I go about processing images in DxO Photolab 5. Thanks for joining, thanks for coming back. Channel's been going really well. I'm just on the cusp of heading towards 150 subscribers. Not far off, which is absolutely fantastic, and thank you so much for all of you who have subscribed and who have been coming back. It's made this more enjoyable, so I really do appreciate you. So sorry it's been a little while since I posted last. Things have just been a bit busy. Life happens, all that sort of thing, but we're getting there, and this is Easter, of course, and a bit of time off, so an opportunity to refresh. I've actually got the whole week off, so I'm going to get out there, do some photography, and make some videos on the back of that. In fact, I went today on this, it was sort of midday, on a bit of a scouting mission. Not too far, maybe about a 30-minute drive from where I live. I'm really fortunate to live near a lot of incredible landscapes here in the South Island of New Zealand. And so I'm going to be looking to pull 2 or 3 shots out of that spot that I went today. I think it's really got a lot of potential, so that's really cool. So today's image is one from not so long ago. I think maybe last weekend. And it is from a beach that's maybe about 10 minutes from my house. Again, very fortunate in where I live. And so I think this one might be interesting. It's not got a heap to it, but it has some things that show up in landscapes quite a bit, such as the difference between the sky and the foreground, and trying to even those out a little bit, which I've just done in a single exposure, and trying to nail that white balance, of course, tidying up my dust spots. I cleaned the sensor not so long ago, but already there are some dust spots there. Near the end I'll take you through, and I'll actually take you through into Photoshop and show you the application that I use in there, because I think I probably will make a print out of this. And I thought actually that might be a follow-up video, because I might do a print out of DxO. And see how that goes, and do a little bit of a comparison. So I usually use something called QImage, which I use largely because it's one thing, it does sharpening really well based on the size that you're outputting. So that's a nice thing. You don't need to think about it too much. It's actually got some pretty good defaults built into it, and also the thing that I like about it is if I have my settings out of whack, it'll catch that for me and put up a red flag and say, hey, wait, hold on, you might be about to waste some paper and ink. So it pulls me up and gets me to double check my settings when something isn't quite right. So that's been really good as well. But I'm aware that DxO's got a pretty full-featured printing as well, so I thought maybe I might do a bit of a comparison there, do the printing from DxO, do the printing from the other, and see how they compare. So watch for that coming up. But for today, this image, I'm going to dive in, and I guess one of the interesting things about this is you'll see that I'm playing around with using a different color profile again. What's it called? Natural color realistic tonality, which is a very it feels, the word linear is not on it, but it feels very linear. It starts out very flat, but that helped a lot with the sky, which is interesting. So I'll be playing more around with that. So let's go ahead and jump in. So here we go. This image of some dunes. The sun, it was sunrise, and but the sun is behind me, sort of maybe about 10 or 20 degrees over my right shoulder, so that my shadow would fall. I can't see myself. Let's hope it's going the right way. The shadow will fall to the left of the image. Yeah, so here we go. This is sort of the image where I've taken it, except for you'll see that there are dust spots there, which like I said, I'll do that in Photoshop. So this is the sort of set of corrections I have arrived at so far, and this is a virtual copy just here, without anything done to it, just with the reset button hit up there. So let me I will maximize that, and I will come back to I'll go back to this one. I'll go to the photo that hasn't got anything done on it, and I'll get rid of that for some space. I'm going to just drag my histogram out because I want to keep that around, and we'll do that, and then I'll just pop this histogram up here in the corner. Should do just fine. Give me lots of space. So where am I headed here? So just going through the exposure tab first of all. I'm giving it a bit of exposure, but not yet. But wait, there's more. So coming here to the color space, I'm going to apply. I had mentioned applying a sort of a linear. That's at least what it appears like, profile, which will end up with a very sort of flat image. Takes a lot of contrast out of it, and that's just in here in the color rendering space. If I actually leave that there, if I drop this down, that's the one I'm after. Neutral color, realistic tonality, gamma 2.2, and I've looked at some of these others previously, but this gives a real sort of washed out appearance. But one of the things it does is pulls a bit of the contrast in, which when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, hey, that would actually do nicely perhaps for bringing the sky and the foreground a little closer together, and then when we expand it again, we can expand it, being a bit more careful about that. So that is the beginning of this. Now I'll pop over to the exposure tab, and I'm going to, first of all, just looking at the histogram here and looking at the right side of it, there's a bit of space there, I thought, so I'm going to, not minus, I obviously hit the wrong part of that arrow, bring that up a bit, maybe even one more, we'll see. I can come back and adjust that, and then I'm going to do something that it occurred to me, with an image this flat, how do you easily give it punch back? Well, I could reduce my blacks a bit, and I could bring my highlights up and that sort of thing. But then if I do that, you see the sky is instantly going quite white again. So then I bring my midtones up. Yeah, but it's still a bit funny. So I was thinking to myself, what do you do? And of course you could grab that, and you could start playing with bringing that in, etc. Even still, that sky, it's hard to get it quite right. Let me just reset there. Anyway, I thought to myself, what about if I just binged on good old-fashioned clear view? And look at that, interesting. Lo and behold, it's got me some color in the sky. It's added some contrast back into things, and the only major detriment to this is, well, actually, maybe just before I say what the major detriment to that is, I'm going to just pop on my smart lighting, and I'm going to do spot weighted. Grab a spot, and I'm going to this is sort of a main point of interest, so I'll put it around there. Not sure it did a whole lot of difference, but slight. But that's fine. So with clear view, the one sort of drawback that I can tell with this, but it's correctable, so we'll let it go anyway, is if I come in here on the sky, let's see, I don't know, maybe just looking around my microphone here, yeah. So you see Can you see? Hopefully that'll show up on video. The sort of it takes skies a little chunky sometimes in my view. If I take that off, obviously you can't see any of it. So at first I thought, you know, a bit of a detriment, but then I thought to myself, yes, but DxO has fantastic noise removal. So I wonder, what if I just pop over to the Details tab and turn on my Deep Prime. Now again, Deep Prime is not going to show me a proper preview here, but I can tell you from having exported this that it does just fine. Cleans that sky up, takes care of it, and by the nature of what it does, it doesn't, you know, introduce any softness that I can perceive, at least, in any other parts of the image, which, you know, especially down here, is quite reliant on there being some nice, crisp, fine detail. So that's where I've been. I put on clear view and I put on some Deep Prime noise removal, even though this image was, to my memory, shot at ISO 100. That helps to compensate for the clear view. So interesting. Then I'm going to just wait. I'll just zoom back out a bit so we can see that whole image. Pop into contrast. Wants to give me that micro contrast straight off, and I'll leave a good portion. I'll leave about 10 points of that. And I'm just going to add a bit. You can see how that starts to really define the light and the dark, and obviously I've taken that too far there, but that's I like what fine contrast does on here to a point, so I'll add some points to that. I like the way that it really brings out the variation that goes through those grasses there. So that's that. Tone curve. I might come back to this. I'll maybe add a little bit of one. Gonna bring, and I don't want these, you know, here's, having sort of looked at it before, I think my absolute black points, one of them, it falls in this grass here somewhere, maybe right about there, as I looked for my absolute darkest areas, and the other one, oh, I forget, but it was up here, over here, maybe somewhere. But I don't want those to be pure black. You know, I don't tend to see shadows. I know that, you know, we often do that to try to increase contrast, but I find that I don't in life often see shadows like that, so I've been not doing that too much. Careful, I don't want that. Be a bit careful with that. I don't want to go too far. Maybe just down a smidge, and maybe just gonna bring those highlights up a little, and just gonna put another point there, maybe kind of in there. Let me zoom out and see how I'm feeling about that. Turn that off, turn that on, turn that off, turn that on. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I'll leave it there for now. I might take a little bit of the dark shadow out, but we'll see. We'll see how I go. So that's going well. Come pop over here. Temperature wise, I'm actually going to bring that temperature down a bit. I found on the occasion, you know, what it's working from, I had just set the camera to shade, I think, because it was early morning. But I think I probably prefer something closer to about 64, 65, and maybe about +2 there. So something to that effect. So cutting back in, I'll give some jazz hands here, because probably the video just looked a little funny there where I cut a piece out. I just had my wife popping in wanting to use the other computer across the way there. So, all right, so where was I? So yeah, so I've changed my white balance down a bit. I reckon, you know, 64-ish, 65-ish. We'll be fine with that. Color accentuation, I reckon it's coming pretty saturated, but I'll bump that a little in general. So I'm gonna pop this up, but I'm going to come down at that. To me, especially these grasses here get a little bit intense when I do that. So I'm going to pop down here, grab. Seems to be kind of in the yellows-ish. Grab that and get a wee selection there, just see, yeah, that seems to really be affecting the grass. So I'm actually just going to pull a bit of that back out of the grass. Not heaps, just a little. And then I might also take this opportunity to lighten the grass up a little. Let me see. Yeah, that's not really... I'm just checking the histogram there and making sure that it's not going to blow anything out on me. I won't go too far with that. Maybe just a little bit. I think I've gone too far with that. That's looking a little bright in the front, so probably gone a little too far with that too. So let's see. I'll come back to it. See how I'll live with it for a while and see how I feel about it. Awesome. So I'm also going to, while I'm here, just come in and impact that sky a little bit. So I'll grab the blue, grab the picker, come up here and click on the sky again. Just kind of bring it down, turns gray. Yep, that's all good. And what am I going to do here? I'm actually going to do a little touch of hue shift, which is this little handle here, and bring that up just a little bit, just because the sort of those more heading towards cyan please me in skies. I like it like that. And I might just decrease that luminance a little bit. Let's see. Just a little, increase that saturation a little. Nice. Let me go ahead and leave that there. Lovely. Okay. So I have done that. I have done that. That's already been done, and I've done that. So that's pretty much everything on color for now. And I've already been into detail because I've put deep prime on. So what else? I know one thing is I want to just pop into local adjustments for a moment. And I'm going to grab just a regular old gradient tool. And I'm going to click that and bring it up from here. And I just want to bring down the exposure a little bit on the bottommost grass. I don't want to do a full vignette on this. I don't want to see the darkening in the sky at the corners, but I think that this will help the eye to sort of jump into the image a bit more where I would like it to if I do it this way. Let me just see how I feel about that. Yeah, I think I like that. I think it contains things a little bit. Awesome. And I think probably that's getting to be pretty good for right now. I'm going to just... there's these bits of grass in the front, and I can mostly cope with them. They're not my absolute favorite feature. But this one over here near the edge does particularly bother me. So I'm just going to use the heal tool and have a go over that. I think it'll replace it pretty nicely. Yeah, there we go. I reckon. If you didn't know what you were looking for, you would never find that. Possibly even if you did know what you were looking for. Down there in that grass. So, let me just have one last peek, but I think that's probably pretty good. See how I'm feeling about things. Histogram looks okay. It does come right up to the edge there. And let's check the luminance values. Yeah, so it's going right up to the edge, but nothing going over. Nice. Maybe one thing I'll do before I go pop over to Photoshop quickly is come back into local adjustments, do a new adjustment. Let's grab a brush. Nope, grab the auto brush on accident, just wanted a regular brush. And I'll bring that size down a little bit. And maybe just gonna brush over here and over here. Maybe through here, maybe through here, something to that effect. Let's see. 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 just a hair. I'm also wondering, I don't know, I've not tried this. Just a touch warmer on that stuff. I might like, I think. Yeah, let me have a peek here. Compare. Just let it redraw, there we go. Nice. Just gonna pop back out. I sometimes like to look at things, you know, I guess it'll depend on your screen what exactly you're heading towards. But you know, I like to look at things at 20 or 25 on this zoom scale here. Just because it makes it a little bit smaller, sometimes easier to get a sense for the whole image that way. Yeah, nice. I think that's good. So let me go ahead and export that and pop over to, so I'll close that brush tool, pop over to Photoshop. Just grab this. Of course, I need to come in here to get at my export menu. Export to application is already chosen. So I'll do that. Photoshop, Adobe RGB, 16-bit. Yep, that all looks good. I'll just pop down here. Boom. There we go. That's not what I wanted to do. Awesome. So this this tool I was talking about for spotting dust is called Lumenzia, and with it installed, it just shows up here. There's a few different panels. This is actually a sharpener one by the same guy. This is a basics panel. It's got some bits and pieces, but Lumenzia itself. So I mean, largely it does luminosity selections, blending, etc. And I probably only use about 1/10 of this. To watch the creator, Greg Benz, use it. It's absolutely phenomenal what it's capable of. But you know, a few things that I use are the dust tool, or to select a particular portion, darks, middles, lights, or there's more breakdown. Map. I love this feature. You can map. I'll just show you this real quick, and it gives you. Well, actually, the scale is there, so you can see that. The sort of the reds down into the beginnings of yellows are in those highlight areas, and working your way down, so you can get a sense for what the tonality through the image is and where shadows are, etc., etc. It's very cool, very cool. And that's just created something down in my layers panel there that I'll just delete when I'm done with it. Group and contents. But let's have a look at that dust tool. So you know, it says it's going to create a blank layer and give me a spot healing brush, and you know, you can. I'm just going to stick with that. And put that away now. But look at the dust shows up so nicely, so clearly. You can just pop in there and do your thing. Real quick visualization, and you know, I know for certain that there are pieces of dust that show up on this that I would never spot with my own eye. So like I said, particularly if I'm going to print something, I like to run it through there. So that has done the trick, cleaned all those up, and now I can just save it out. File, save, and then we're back to, and I often go back to, you know, for most of the time when I'm going to export, I often go back to DxO because I really enjoy their export menu. Nice. And looking at this, you know, especially against the white background like that, It's hard to say, but I might even brighten that a hair. But if yeah, I'd need to sit with it before I made a decision. But I might even brighten that a hair. But it's really, I find having it against white, and also, you know, getting a sense for it at different sizes, particularly as a smaller size, gives you a sense for the tonalities in the image. So there we have it. Hope that's been helpful. Hope that's been entertaining and or informative. Thanks so much for watching, and hope to see you again. Cheers. Bye-bye.